Okay, here we are. We're back for your FP3, baby, in Mexico City. We made it on time. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I made it. Hopefully you are all going to be enjoying the Mexico Grand Prix in Mexico City. FP3. With me today, we have got obviously live timings. We've got our live track and incidents. So we are bringing you all the data you could possibly want. Give that a little reload. Yeah, so we're going to be going in just a couple of minutes. Gemma's in the chat. Hey, Gemma, nice to have you with us. Popcorn and a cup of tea for this. Rock and roll. FP3, we know it's not as glamorous as qualifying or as exciting, but we haven't got long to wait. Qualifying's coming in just a few hours' time. But this is our warm-up, right? This is our warm-up for the qualifying session. We're going to see who's quick and who isn't. We saw yesterday Max Verstappen showing some pace. We saw the Ferraris showing some pace. Oscar Piastri, though, did not show any pace. Did he? What was he? P12 in FP2? Quite shocking. So we're going to get a really good idea in FP3 of who's got a package that's going to be competitive in qualifying and in the race. So yes, we're live. Thank you for joining. Oh yeah, DT always calls Piastri pastrami. That's true. Gemma says, I feel like I should have made fajitas. What, because it's Mexico City? I love fajitas. I do. But if you have just joined us, this is everything you could possibly need with the live stream. Full data. We'll be kicking off in just a moment or two. 44 degrees track temperature, 23 degrees ambient air temperature. Humidity is 38 and wind speed is 1.1 miles per second. So we need to see McLaren really pull out a bit of performance for Oscar Piastri. If you were watching yesterday, you'll know I was talking about which teams have brought updates / upgrades for their cars to Mexico City. It won't be a surprise for you to find out that McLaren have not brought any upgrades or updates since Italy, since Monza. That's crazy. Ferrari have had 4 updates to their car for Mexico City. 4. Yes, Gemma. Oh, I do love a bit of guacamole with my fajitas. Yeah, I do like a bit of that. So drivers getting in the car. They're all getting ready for this FP3. I mean, at least in FP3, we do normally get an indication of who's quick and who isn't. George Russell showing a little bit more pace, actually, by the end of FP2. And also, we've got to mention, special mention for Arvid Lindblad in FP1, driving Max Verstappen's car, putting that car, I think it was P6 or P7. It was a very good lap by Arvid. And also a very good advert for himself for taking one of those Racing Bull seats for 2026. Helmut Marko has promised us a decision on the Red Bull camp for next season for Red Bull and Racing Bulls. And he's promised a decision after this race. So maybe it happened whilst I was out today and I missed it. But no, they did say there's going to be some sort of announcement. I think he'll wait to see how Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda do during this Grand Prix. But here we go. Session has started. Let me just refresh my timings. There we go. 59 seconds. The clock is ticking. Give the track overlay a quick refresh. Look at all this brilliant technology we've brought to you. We got the cars on track, live data. Yeah, as you can see, Stroll already out on track. Out on the mediums. Alonso also out on the hards. 58 minutes to go. I'll take you through the screen as well. Hopefully you've got a screen big enough to follow this. So each driver we have down 1 to 20. Tells you whether they're in the pits, tells you the tyre choice that they're on. And this is where it gets interesting. Then we have the lap times. Then we have the gap between them and fastest time. And then these sections to your right, the last 3 sections are your sexter. Sexter, that's a new one, are your sectors. 3 sectors. If they all go purple, you know, we will see which drivers have got the fastest sector times and fastest lap times. So that is how you read the data on the screen. No times in yet. So Stroll, fastest second sector, where you can see all the purple. That's a good sign if you're a driver and looking to be the fastest time of the day. So it's all live data we've got. But obviously we've got the chat as well. So do get in the chat, say hello. Gemma's in there on her own at the moment. Go and say hello. This is where we can share ideas, discuss what's going on, if we've got any questions. Chef's in there. Sexter. Someone had a good evening last night. Yeah. Sexter 1, 2, and 3. I know. That's not a good slip, is it? Thanks for joining us, Chef. Nice to have you with us. Good timing. Sexter. Jesus. I think you could end up on a register for that these days, I think. Yes, so Stroll, everyone's favourite, Lance Stroll, everyone's favourite for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Out on the soft tyres. Alonso's out on the mediums. They really want to try and get some idea of doing a longer run on each of these tyres to see how they feel the tyre wear is going to be here in Mexico City. Thing is, because it's a low downforce track, actually the cars tend to be sliding a lot more, which means you're going to get a lot more marbling on the tyres, which you don't want marbling on the tyres. It's literally like little tiny pieces of round pieces of rubber, and it just makes that back end or front end just slip around like it's on marbles. So yeah, you do not want your tyres to be marbling. Unfortunately, that is what happens when the cars are sliding around, which they are doing. And like Lewis Hamilton said in his post-race interview, about, it was asked saying, well, I guess exciting, doesn't it, when you're sliding around out there? And he's like, no, never. You never want to be sliding in an F1 car. In a rally car, yeah, but in an F1 car, no. You do not want to be sliding around in an F1 car. You want ultimate grip, stuck to the road. And I tend to agree with him. Gemma says marbling should only be on a steak. True that. Right, Chef? Exactly. I wonder what Chef's cooking up tonight for his Grand Prix qualifying. So Hamilton's out on track now. Stroll still out. P1. He's the only guy in the soft tyre, though, to be fair. Not the fastest at times. So that record held by Valtteri Bottas, 147, I think it was. Oh, Chef says a client requested lobster. Ah, very nice. Has he gone for a surf and turf though? I think if you have the means, I think your client, a nice surf and turf. Oof. Side of steak with that lobster. Oh, I'd love that myself, to be honest, Chef. Actually, Chef, what's your favourite cut of beef for a steak? Do you like a ribeye, a fillet, T-bone, sirloin, or New York strip? Good morning, DT. He's up and with us. How's life in the States? Yeah, I was just asking Chef what his favourite cut of meat is for a steak, whether it's like a ribeye, sirloin, fillet, or New York strip, which is basically a sirloin. I'm curious. I love a steak. So Verstappen's put a timing of 1:18.9 on the medium. 1:17s. We're going to be looking. Oh, strip and ribeye. Yeah. I like a ribeye. Gemma, I will answer that for Chef. You cannot cook steak in anything other than butter. If you're one of these weirdos who wants to cook steak in olive oil, Chef, tell her. Tell her. Or maybe garlic butter. Nice. Those are Italians. What, they use olive oil? Oh, no. Not the one. Got to be cooked in butter. Gives that nice colour on the outside. And garlic butter's nice as well, obviously. But yeah. That's for me. That's my taste. Destroy Television's joined us. I love that. Hopefully all of the live timings are working fine for you and the guys are on the track. Yeah, that's all working nicely. Brilliant. As you can see, our little computer game. We've got everyone out on track. Hulkenberg, Colapinto, Bortoletto, Alonso, Verstappen. Italians do love their olive oil. Yes, they do. To be fair, the olive oil in Italy is different to what we get in the UK. I think it's like 100% olive, if that makes sense. But the olive oil in Italy is definitely way nicer. Okay, so Hamilton out on track on the mediums. So Verstappen's on the mediums, Hamilton's on the mediums. We should be able to. I like that because we can get a direct comparison of get some pace from Hamilton and from Verstappen. Because Verstappen, I mean, he must be absolutely buzzing right now. I mean, he's on an almighty charge, isn't he? An almighty charge to win the World Drivers' Championship in the most spectacular fashion. And because McLaren are just not supporting their drivers with any upgrades or updates for the car, and Red Bull are fully 100% behind Verstappen. Oh, Hamilton's just taken a little trip across the grass there. That's the thing with Hamilton. He always uses free practice trying to really find the limits. And obviously he missed FP1, didn't he? Because Fuko was in the car. Who Hamilton said he did a really good job, actually. I mean, I didn't see him put in any quick times, but Hamilton said he did a really good job in his car. So I'll take Hamilton's word for it. I struggled to see a quick time in that Ferrari, but where's Arvid Lindblad? Did the business, didn't he? Did the business in that Red Bull in Max's car. Very impressive. Gave us something to talk about in a very boring FP1. So Bortoletto has gone fastest in Sector 2. No, Bortoletto has gone fastest overall. Sector 2, fastest Sector 2 and fastest Sector 3. It's a 1:18.7 on the medium. So, yeah, I think 1:17 is where we're going to be at then for qualifying. I would expect 117s. Maybe, I mean, Valtteri Bottas's lap record could be under threat. But Pole might be 117. I mean, it'd be amazing if it got the 116.9s, but if anyone can do it, it's Mighty Max. But that Kick Sauber has been looking pretty good. Hulkenberg's up there in P4, but I think what we could all agree yesterday was we're all quite surprised that the Sauber's performance was pretty good. Pretty good. Hamilton's just done a 118.7. Verstappen's done a 118 dead. So dropping down now into soon to be in the 117s. We are going to see some hot laps here. Oh, yeah, Gemma says the man, the myth, the legend, Bottas. Yeah, he's your current lap record holder in Mexico City in the Mercedes. But Leclerc and Hamilton, 2 and 3. Like I said, the gap has narrowed between them. Look at that. Leclerc is 1,000th of a second in front of Hamilton. 1,000th of a second. Crazy. Crazy scenes. So Hamilton really has narrowed that gap. And I'm pleased for him. I'm so excited for qualifying though. Especially now we've got all the data. We've got all the data. Track temperature 46 degrees. Ambient air temperature 23 degrees. Quite nice that. Humidity 36%. And a wind speed of 2.5 miles per second. Just where could you get such great data other than F1 Grandstand? Do me a favour, by the way, if you're watching this video, please smash a like on it while you're watching it. It's really good for the channel. We might even get a few more viewers to join us. If you do that, I'd appreciate it. Carlos Sainz going P1. Carlos Sainz, obviously, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's got a 5-place grid penalty. So wherever he qualifies, drop him back 5 places. For that incident with Antonelli in the USA, in Austin, Texas. I thought it was a bit harsh, actually, because they originally gave him a 10-second penalty to serve during the Grand Prix at Austin, Texas. He couldn't serve that penalty, so that became a 5-place grid penalty. I mean, it's a big difference, that. I think it's more of a disadvantage, the grid penalty, for sure, than a 10-second penalty. The Spaniards have had a hard year. Yeah. True. True that. Yuki's got, you know what? The interesting story for me today is who qualified. Here's a good one for us. It's a 50-50. Who will qualify further up the grid? Yuki Tsunoda or Liam Lawson? Because they're in a head-to-head battle for me for the Racing Bull seat next year. And I think qualifying is going to be very telling. So who's going to qualify further up the grid? Yuki Tsunoda or Liam Lawson? Answers in the chat. But looking at that, Yuki Tsunoda just put that car P3. So, and Lawson is P4, 2/10 behind him on the soft. Oh, so Gemma's gone with Lawson. I love it. You think Lawson's going to qualify higher than Yuki? That's because you've got Yuki as your dipstick of the weekend. That's why. We haven't really seen too many dipstick moves so far, have we, in practice? There's always qualifying, though. There's always qualifying where we can see some dipstick moves. Yeah. Give it time. Give it time. No, listen, Yuki so far hasn't, look, third practice session, he hasn't put a foot wrong. He's done all right. And, you know, I'm not wishing bad things on any driver. I mean, I want Yuki to suddenly perform really well. It's just, I think he's under a lot of pressure. I think Lawson's under a lot of pressure for that Racing Bull seat. And I think today they're in a head-to-head. They are. They're in a head-to-head in qualifying, for sure. Obviously, race is different. I mean, whoever finishes higher in the race is also going to be have a factor. But they will be getting judged on their qualifying performance today. So, 42 minutes left of FP3. We're looking like we're going to drop into the 117s quite soon. Carlos Sainz has done a 118. Currently the fastest. Both Ferraris very, very close in pace. Just, yeah, what's that? Just 100th between them now. Leclerc and Hamilton. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Alonso just put a time in. 118.6. Hadjar popped a time in there. Actually, Luke Browning, sorry, it's just on. I got slightly distracted. Luke Browning's talking to Crofty on F1. Did well in the Williams yesterday, didn't he? Did okay. I mean, when you think about that second Alpine seat, you know, you got Paul Aaron, Luke Browning, Jack Crawford, Iwasa, Pato O'Ward. Like, there's lots of young drivers who probably deserve a crack on the grid next season. Unless you're coming through the Mercedes Youth Driver Program or the Red Bull Youth Driver Program. How do they get a main seat, you know, rather than a reserve seat? Because those teams do promote their rookies. But Aston Martin have got Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. So their youth driver program, where's their opportunity? Well, reserve driver, you know, getting some FP1s. There's not a lot of opportunity to get on the grid, is there? And all those opportunities do seem to come from really the youth driver program. I mean, Bortoletto did well to get a seat at Sauber, but you know, he won F3, won F2 consecutive seasons, freaking quick. Yet Filip Drugovich won F2 in 2023 and couldn't get a seat. He got a reserve. What was it? A seat with the development program at Aston Martin. It isn't a fair game for the rookies to get a seat in Formula One. Quite often they won't take the quickest driver from F2 or the winner. They'll take a driver who's top, you know, within the top 5, but that brings all the money with them, because the money comes with the rookie, you know, can vary an awful lot. If you come through the Mercedes driver program or the Red Bull driver program, you might not be bringing money behind you. You know, you might not really be bringing anything to the team other than your driving skills. But if you're coming out of F2 and you're trying to get a drive in F1, all those sponsors that help you get to the top of F2, you better hope they're big enough to come and bring a big big checkbook to the F1 team. Franco Colapinto is probably bringing about 15 to 20 million a year to Alpine, yet his salary will be about 500,000 a year. So, you know, it's how much. It isn't a fair game, is what I'm saying. It isn't fair. You know, Lando Norris, I talked about this a lot, got his first drive, his first contract at McLaren, and his dad it cost him around $40 million for and then Lando Norris got his first 3-year deal at McLaren. But, you know, his dad had invested an awful lot of money into the team. "38 minutes in, Sainz out on the softs with the fastest time with 1:18. Verstappen P2, 200ths behind. Norris P3. Leclerc P4. Tsunoda P5. Alonso P6. Hadjar P7. Ocon P8. Lawson P9. Hamilton P10 coming at the pits. He'll be chucking on some softs. Lawson done pretty well there with an 18.2 on the softs. Not as much as Stroll's dad. Yeah. Thanks, Gemma. So, Russell and Antonelli. Oh, Antonelli's just popped in a time now. P14 on the medium to 1:18.9. Not great. Not too great. Lonsto still hovering around the top 10. He's in P7 on the medium. Hadjar's popped in a good time on the soft, or a reasonable time, 1:18.2. These times will start tumbling as time goes on. We will be getting into the 1:17s very soon. Yeah, FP3 is another one of those where people are not. Everyone's just getting geared up for the qualifying session in 2.5 hours' time. I know. This is like the warm up for the qualifying. Yeah, because after this, we'll go and have some food. Some of you'll have a beer, glass of wine, and then we'll be back for qualifying, which is the business end of the last 2 days. Let's have a quick check of our incidents that's going on. Okay, not much. Just green light, pit exit open is the only thing from the stewards. No yellow flags, no problems. Good news. Well, quick check. So apparently, okay, here's a story from motorsport.com. Just checking F1GRANDSTAND.com for where we aggregate a lot of the news. Helmut Marko has dismissed McLaren's claims that Red Bull are sacrificing their 2026 car for the upgrades and updates they are giving to Max Verstappen for the 25 car. He slammed it. He's saying, absolutely not true. We are still developing the 26 car. Red Bull are happy with that. But they will still be backing Max with everything they can. Helmut Marko basically telling McLaren, don't be spreading vicious rumours that we are losing any headway with the development of the 2026 car because we are helping Max win the World Drivers' Championships in 2025. He's like, no, we're not sacrificing anything. Which then points the finger firmly at Zach Brown and Andrea Stella at McLaren. Why haven't you brought one update to Mexico City to help the boys? Like, it's... I mean, like I said, Ferrari have brought new Red Bull have brought new front brake inlet to help with brake cooling at these high temperatures, a new engine cover to help with engine cooling, a floor body, and a radiator duct inlet, an edge wing to benefit from the lowered upper floor surface, and it's to give more downforce. Like, at the end of the day, Red Bull have brought 4 updates. 4. Right? That's crazy at this late stage of the season. Russell's on his radio saying he cannot get this medium tyre to work. Well, that does ring true because there's only P17 at the minute. It's half an hour left of FP3. So Russell being quite honest on his team radio that he cannot get these medium tyres to work. He's going to need to get them to work for the race, though. You know, we have to find a way because the hards will be significantly slower than the mediums. So Norris out in P1. So P1 with a 1:18.015. Very close to the top 4. Not under a tenth between first to fourth. Under 1/10 separates Norris, Sainz, Verstappen, and Leclerc. Under a tenth. That's how close Formula One is these days over a lap. Which is why Lewis Hamilton was quite right to say about during qualifying, like team decisions to get out on track at the right time so they do not lose tyre temperature because they're in a queue of traffic to get out of the pits is so relevant. Those team decisions can be the difference of getting into Q3 or not getting into Q3, being on the front row of the grid or being on the 5th row of the grid. You know? Big difference. Yeah, Sainz coming out on the softs now. Are we going to see an improvement in his time? Oh, do know, God. Free practice does feel a little bit of a grind sometimes. I'm not going to lie. The only thing that's shocking me about every free practice that we've seen so far is we've not seen Piastri put in a quick lap. Like what, you can't just, I mean, we've got it. I mean, Piastri's currently down P12. I mean, I'm not sure we've even seen him in the top 10. Yeah, he needs to show up, right? And does he think he's just going to turn up like Max does sometimes in qualifying with a worldy lap? I mean, maybe, but surely he wants to see and get some data on a push lap, on the softs, the mediums, the hards. Like, where is this push lap? I have not seen a push lap from him in every practice session, and I don't think that's wise. You know, Norris out there in P1 with a 118 dead, pretty much. You know, let's see you pop one in the 117s, Piastri. Show us something. Leclerc's gone fastest in the second sector. George Russell, after complaining that he cannot get any pace out of the medium tyre, has managed to put in a 118.02 and P3 on the medium tyre. That's not too bad. Expect the softs to be in the 117s. Sainz still very competitive. Remember, Carlos Sainz won here in 2024 in that Ferrari. Hadjar showing some pace. He's a 10th quicker than Yuki Tsunoda. Lawson a 10th slower than Yuki Tsunoda. I do think, like I said, I've said it before, but Yuki and Lawson, they are in a head-to-head at the moment. Alexander Albon going wide, turn 14. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those tracks, actually, Mexico City, where throughout the weekend, normally it gets quicker and quicker. And FP3, you'd normally see the cars at least half a second quicker than they were in FP2. We will see a quicker track tonight, a little bit later, for qualifying. So we should be dropping into the 117s. I think we'll see some 117s this session, to be honest. There's 24 minutes left. And we're going to want to see some push laps from Piastri, Hamilton, more from Leclerc, maybe Verstappen. Oscar Piastri is getting some criticism on Sky F1 right now. We were just talking about it. it is strange for Piastri not to show some race pace in any of the pre-practice sessions. To not put in one good push lap is worrying. Because what does that mean for qualifying? What does that mean for Oscar Piastri when he sees his teammate, who has been consistently in the top 3 or 4? Piastri needs to show some pace before the end of this session if he wants to go into qualifying with absolute confidence that he's got a car beneath him that can do the business. He's just not quick enough. Which, cue the conspiracy theories. Cue the conspiracy theories. Have they nerfed Oscar Piastri's car? Right? Have McLaren purposefully nerfed his car to allow Norris, the best chance of winning the World Drivers' Championship because they want him to be the World Drivers' Champion? I mean, look, we're getting into conspiracy theories at this point, but if you're Oscar Piastri, these things are going to be getting in your head. He's going to be wondering why he's half a second slower than Norris. If he believes he's doing what he always does and driving how he normally does, he's going to think it's something wrong with the car. Because nobody wants to take it. No driver will believe anything otherwise. Remember the McLaren days with Prost and Senna? Alan Prost was going on telly at McLaren saying, they give me a crap car. Of course my car breaks repeatedly. They're favouring Senna for the championship. And whilst he was a McLaren driver, he was doing that while Ron Dennis was running the team. Drivers get it in their head that the team is against them. And maybe sometimes the team does favour one driver. And maybe there are shenanigans. It's just, once it's in your head as a driver, it's very hard to recover from those negative thoughts. But this FP3 session, the main thing they'll be focused on is downforce, ride height. Have they maximised the downforce available at this high altitude circuit? And have they really dialed in the correct downforce to create the optimum ground effect for grip without illegal plank wear by the end of the Grand Prix? We saw McLaren suffer with that, didn't we, in Austin, Texas, because neither of them finished the sprint race. So they pretty much had to guess when it came to what their optimum ride height was going to be, and they had to err on the side of caution. But millimeters make a difference to the handling of these cars. That Ferrari SF25 was built to run at a lower ride height than it can actually run at, and at its designed ride height, the car's very good. Problem is that they couldn't master the plank wear problem, so the car would be illegal by the end of the race. Whereas McLaren and Red Bull have both mastered how to affect the plank wear at different parts of the plank so it remains legal by the end of the race. Ferrari haven't managed to do that all season. And that new rear suspension they brought, unfortunately, just really compounded the problem because it was not or is not particularly adjustable to dial in to different tracks. So it hasn't really been the best upgrade for Ferrari. Okay, so Russell's now into the 117s. Just reload my timings. Russell's on a 1:17.8. So I know it's a bit small on your screen, but just where you're wondering where the quick time is. So next to the driver, underneath the 24 degrees, so your one. So the first column next to sector time here, that number at the top per driver is his last lap, and underneath that, the smaller number is their fastest lap. So if you're reading the headline number in white, that's their last lap, and their fastest lap is underneath it. Hopefully you're watching on a screen big enough to get all of this data and enjoy it. So we're going to get into the business end of FP3, where literally everyone puts on the soft tyre and everyone's trying to get a flying lap, their practice qualifying lap, and we can really see who's quick and who's going to struggle in qualifying. I'm expecting to see a lot of laps in the 117s. Yeah, so the last 15 minutes might just improve this snooze fest of an FP3. But my predictions are looking pretty good for top 5. Nossa J, good evening. Little update on Max. Well, I can tell you an update on Max. First of all, Max Verstappen and Red Bull have brought they have brought 4 updates to Mexico City. They brought new front brake inlet and outlet ducting to help with the cooling of the brakes. They brought a redistributed top body to benefit from the exit air to basically help keep the cooling of the engine cooler. Revisions to the upper surface of the radiator duct inlet to the side pod split line to help with downforce, and an new edge wing as well of the floor to benefit from the lowered upper floor surface, which will basically bring a little bit more stability. So they brought 4 updates for the Red Bull car, whereas McLaren, would you like to guess, Nosa J, what McLaren have brought in regards to updates? 0. They have brought nothing to support their championship winning or title contending drivers. No updates whatsoever. They haven't brought an update for their car since Monza, round 16. So what this basically means is Max is looking nailed on for another great weekend. He had struggled earlier in practice with balance, he said, but trust me, qualifying in 2.5 hours time, Max Verstappen will be front row of the grid, and I think this will be another Max Verstappen victory. But what does that mean for the World Drivers' Championship? I think Max Verstappen is frothing at the mouth. He smells blood in the water, and he is gunning for those McLaren boys. And as McLaren are getting 0 support from the McLaren team with regards to upgrades, I think it's looking like it's going to be a very exciting end of the season. And if you look at what Piastri's currently been doing in FP1, FP2 and FP3, he has not shown us any pace in that McLaren. 0 pace. Nothing. So if you've got money on Max Verstappen this weekend, I would say, yeah, this is probably a good place to put it. Piastri really needs to show us something in qualifying. Or on the soft tyres before the end of FP3. He's got 14 minutes left to show us a hot lap. So, in short, Mighty Max on a charge, fully supported. He's going well. And yeah, I just talk about Piastri. He's gone P1 with a 1:17.3. I think that's the first quick lap I've seen Piastri do all weekend. On the soft tyre, you'd expect the softs to be in the low 1:17s. So that is good news for Piastri. That is good news for Piastri. First quick lap we've seen all weekend. Everyone was getting a little bit concerned about him. Hadjar P2, Lawson P5, Yuki P4. Yuki, credit where it's due, Yuki. 1/10 behind Piastri, that's all. Leclerc, P1. Wow, 100th quicker than Piastri. We're now getting into the real session in FP3 where we actually learn something about who's got some pace, who's got quali pace. Antonelli with a 1:17.2. Nosa J says, excellent, I want Max to win. Champ drive for 5. What has he done this session along with Russell is fantastic. Yeah, Russ, look at Antonelli's time, by the way. You just see it pop up after your message. He's putting a 1:17.2. Fastest of all. I mean, low 1:17s is decent. We might see a 1:16.9 in qualifying, maybe even a little lower, but 1:17.2 from Antonelli is not slow on the soft tyre. Yuki Tsunoda's been marked improvement as well. His pace has been pretty decent. So that's been a little bit of a surprise, especially for Gemma in the chat, because as we play our little game on our preview show where everyone gets to choose who we think is going to have a bad weekend, who's going to be the dipstick of the weekend, Gemma chose Yuki Tsunoda. Verstappen's has gone P4. That's crazy. 64 milliseconds between first and fourth. So Hamilton's just gone quickest in the second sector. And he's gone P1 with a 1:16.9. Hamilton. That's decent. Sub 1:17 is some good pace. That is some good pace. 3/10 faster than Antonelli in that Mercedes on the soft tyre. That's a good time from Hamilton. Good time. Hamilton's showing he's got some quali pace. This is setting us up for a really good fun qualifying later, I think. Something a bit exciting. I mean, my prediction for this Grand Prix, I'll share it with you now. I thought Max, P1 Max, P2 Lando, P3 George, P4 Oscar, P5 Lewis. That was my top 5 prediction for the race. Oh, Norris has gone fastest in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Fastest of all, a 1:16.6. It's a good lap from Norris. Showing he's got some quali pace. Three and a half tenths faster than Hamilton's time. Just 9 minutes left now. So the teams and drivers are revealing themselves now. Who's got pace? Who hasn't? 1:16.6. The track's going to get quicker and quicker. So qualifying a little bit later is going to be interesting. Antonelli, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, P5, all showing they have got some pace. Oh, Alexander Albon's pushed it too hard again into turn 6. End up in the runoff area. We've seen him do that a lot in practice. Really just trying to find the edges, trying to find the limits. Carlos Sainz doing the same thing. He overcooked it, ended up in the grass. Going to turn 1. Piastri's just putting a P3. 2.5 tenths slower than Norris. Just a tenth off Hamilton's time. Yeah, no, so yes, you had a bet with the missus that Hamilton would get a podium this season with sprint races. I think I'm still rooting for Hamilton. Yeah, I'm still rooting for Hamilton to get a podium by the end of the season. The one thing I think we can all agree on is from where Hamilton started the season and how far behind Leclerc was. He was like 6 or 7 tenths behind Leclerc's pace. And now they really are far nearer in track time and in pace, but Charles Leclerc just seems to have the edge in qualifying, doesn't he? He just seems to have to pull out the extra tenth. But overall, Hamilton has closed the gap between them, and I think it's possible. I think Ferrari actually brought a couple of. Well, no, I don't think. I know. Ferrari brought a couple of updates to Mexico City. They brought new bodywork exit louvers, so to help keep the engine cooler. And they brought some enlarged rear brake duct. Enlarged rear brake ducting to increase the cooling capacity of the rear brakes. But as we were talking about yesterday, it was the front brake that exploded, wasn't it? So, okay, you got cooler rear brakes. I'm not sure. I do think they have improved the ducting to the front brakes. So I think, but the actual official updates for Mexico City are those 2 updates. So they have tried to improve that car. Sonosa says, yeah, he doesn't want to get a podium, but the missus does. Gemma says, I'm with your lady. I mean, I look, I want Lewis to do well. You know, I think it's tragic when Ferrari have let themselves get to a place where they are so far behind. You know, you always want Ferrari to be challenging at the top and to be super competitive. You know, it's Ferrari, the romance of Ferrari. Yeah, you have to be realistic. They just have not got it right with the SF25. They just haven't got it right. They built a car that works and operates well at a certain ride height that cannot be where the car can't be run at, because the plank wear will always be illegal by the end of the Grand Prix. So they've designed a car fundamentally flawed because of the ride height that it needs to run at to be effective. It just can't. And now what we can see as well, that the whole asking Charles Leclerc to lift and coast after just 7 laps is outrageous, really. Yeah, I've said it before. I said it in the live show we did this week about Hamilton angers Ferrari again. Ferrari really need to listen to Lewis Hamilton. He's the only one in the team who's won a world championship, who's currently at Ferrari, right? Like, you need to listen to somebody, and Fred Vasseur's probably not the guy to listen to. So Fred needs to listen to Lewis. I think they need to put the faith in somebody to help lead the development. And I think Lewis is probably your best bet who's in the stable right now. Oh, wow. No, so 100 quid on the line. That was mad. 100 quid. You bet your missus 100 quid that Lewis won't get a podium this season. That's brave. I mean, that is brave. I hope she gave you odds. I hope she gave like 2 to 1. Because, I mean, to bet against Lewis Hamilton getting a podium in a Ferrari, you know, is pretty brave. Just happens to be that Ferrari is like a bag of spanners this year, unfortunately. But if they could run it at the actual ride height that the car was designed at, that car would be more competitive, much more competitive. Okay, last 3 minutes now. Norris still P1. Hamilton P2. Russell P3. He's in the pits. Piastri P4 in the pits. Antonelli P5 in the pits. Yeah, no, sir. I bet he has. I mean, looking at his pace today, if he qualifies the front 2 rows of the grid, no, sir, you know, you get a bit worried. I felt that Lewis would have a better Grand Prix in Mexico City than Charles Leclerc. I felt it's his time to actually get a little bit of increased performance out of that Ferrari. He's been steadily getting better. I think some of the setups are now he's working very well with the engineers, or better with the engineers, for them to try and deliver what he needs from the car. And I think we can see that by the gradual improvements that we've had since that midway point of the season. So do I think Hamilton's going to keep improving? I do. Do I think Mexico City could be the race that he does it and he gets in front of Leclerc and he might win a podium? Possibly. It could be this one. No, so you better get your wallet out. It could be this one. This could be the one that we see Lewis Hamilton's big improvement. He's looking like he's got a bit of pace. Qualifying's going to tell us a lot, right? Qualifying will tell us a lot. And we haven't got that long to wait. 2.5 hours time, we'll be back for a live stream with all of your live data, track information, incidents, everything. But people are coming out now for one last hot lap with a minute to go. Carlos Sainz. Everyone's coming out. One last quick lap. Let's have a look. A minute to go. Concertinaed in the pit lane. Let's see. If you are watching, please do me a big favor. Smash a like on the video. It makes a big difference to the success of the stream and the channel. I'm so grateful if you could do that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, just 35 seconds left. Chef! Based on last year's performance, I was hoping for Hamilton Piastri title battle. Ferrari McLaren battle would have been sweet. Too bad. I agree. You want to see Ferrari in a title battle, don't you? Like the good old days, Ferrari, McLaren battling out at the top. You know? Not this season, unfortunately, but who knows? Next season. I have a feeling next season you're going to see Aston Martin battling it out with Mercedes. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think George Russell's on a good shout. I think Fernando Alonso is a good shout for potential world champions. You can never write off Mighty Max, but I'm not sure about that Red Bull Ford power unit. So everyone's out on a hot lap. Let's see. Let's see who is going to put on last laps. Norris is on an out lap. Hulkenberg, no improvement. P14. Time's coming in now for the final laps of FP3. Any movement? Hamilton's finished P2. Leclerc's P4. Piastri's P5. Russell is on an out lap. Yuki Tsunoda P9. Hadjar P8. Verstappen P7. Verstappen will improve in qualifying for sure. I agree with you, Nosa J. Alonso, Adrian Newey, Aston Martin, Honda engine, 2026. I can see it. I can see Alonso winning a world championship at 45 years old. I can see it happening. I can. That Newey car, all new, 26. That Honda engine is going to be fantastic. Yeah, I can see it happening. Definitely see it happening. Okay, that's it. No order change at the end of FP3. Yes, Chef, 2026, fingers crossed. Let's see some better racing as well. Let's see it. Let's see some wheel-to-wheel stuff on for high-speed corners. I'm bored of just overtaking into turn one. You know, DRS. I mean, yawn, yawn, yawn. Let's get some real racing. I'm here for it. But talking of real racing, we're getting to the business end now. Qualifying, 2.5 hours time, 10 o'clock UK time. Please join me then. We will have live timings, we'll have track position, and of course, we'll have our banter in the chat. It's the business end. You don't want to miss it. So I'm going to see you about 9:45. We'll go 15 minutes early. We'll talk about some predictions, and yeah, we'll be ready for it together. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Nosa J, Gemma, Chef, DT, Will. Oh, yeah, Will, where have you been? Again. Coming in just as we're saying goodbye. Get back here for qualifying at 9:45. And I'll see you all then. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ta.